I just love recipes that have places in their names that have nothing to do with the places, like Baked Alaska was actually invented at Delmonico's restaurant in New York. It has nothing to do with Alaska. German chocolate cake has nothing to do with Germany. It has to do with Baker's German chocolate. Of course, Spanish rice has never been eaten in Spain, and London broil is not served in London, which brings us to today's recipe, Singapore noodles, which has nothing to do with Singapore. It's really a mashup of the British love of curry with a classic Chinese stir-fry with noodles.
Yeah, you're right. It's typically made with about 80% noodles, whether in Hong Kong or in a version in the United States. We're going to bump it up. We're going to balance those ratios a little bit better so it has more protein, a little bit more vegetables to make it a more complete meal.
Okay.
So we have 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil in the skillet here. Just going to turn our heat to medium-low. And curry powder is the main flavoring in this dish. So I'm adding 2 tablespoons and 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's optional, but I'm going to put it in there.
Just to spite me. Yeah.
Let's live a little. Okay, so we're just going to let that cook for about 4 minutes. It'll really infuse that oil with nice flavor. So while that cooks over medium-low heat, I have 6 ounces of rice vermicelli here. You can find these easily in the Asian section of the supermarket. So I'm going to put 6 cups of boiling water on top of the noodles here. Some recipes call for soaking the noodles in cold water. Some call for actually cooking them on the stovetop. We just want the noodles to become flexible, but we don't want them to get completely soft because we're going to recook them again when we do our stir fry. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes. You can really smell that curry powder, right?
I can.
Yeah, it smells good. So we'll kill that heat. And now I have noodles. I'm going to drain them. So now Asians would never do what I'm going to ask you to do. We're going to take those noodles and just cut that big pile of noodles into thirds. And this will just make the dish a lot easier to eat.
Okay.
Perfect. And then you can just put them back in the bowl there. Okay, and then I have some flavorings. There's 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and a teaspoon of sugar just to give it a little bit of sweetness.
Okay.
Sugar's really nice. It really helps to complement the flavor of the curry powder. There's that curry oil that we made. So if you want to go ahead and toss all that together with the tongs, see how the oil helps to distribute the curry powder throughout all the noodles? That looks great. Okay, so I'm going to wipe out our skillet here with some paper towels. And it's time to stir fry. So if you'll give me some medium-high heat, 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil. Get that nice and hot.
You know, some folks out there might wonder why we're using a 12-inch nonstick skillet and not a wok. Well, the reason is we have a flat stovetop here in America, and the skillet is flat, so you get more heat conduction from the stovetop to the pan. A wok is conical and obviously is not well suited to this setup. Now, there have recently been sort of half wok, half skillets that have maybe a 6-inch bottom. We tested those as well, and still they don't conduct as much heat. So you want a lot of heat for stir frying, use a 12-inch nonstick skillet. Nonstick is a lot of the wok sauces have a little bit of sugar in them.
Right. All right, so it looks like our oil is nice and hot now. So I have 12 ounces of large shrimp. These are peeled and deveined, and I also cut them into half-inch pieces. Just spread these out. So we'll let these go for 90 seconds without stirring them. Now we'll just stir these shrimp.
So you left them there for 90 seconds to get browning on that one side?
Exactly. See how they're all browned and they're picking up some nice golden color. Now we'll let them go for another 90 seconds. You can see the shrimp are just about cooked through. I have a teaspoon of oil. And here's 4 lightly beaten eggs. Add a little bit of salt. That's a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we just want to stir the egg portion until they're just about cooked through but still wet. Okay, now we'll mix them in with the shrimp. So if there's any big pieces of egg, you want to chop them up with your spatula there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that looks good. We'll put these over in this bowl. All right, now I'm adding another teaspoon of oil to the skillet. Let that heat up for a minute. Then I have a teaspoon of minced ginger, 3 cloves of garlic. And we'll just cook those just for about 15 seconds until we start to smell them. I can smell the garlic and the ginger. Let's add our vegetables. So here's 1 red bell pepper, sliced up. And there's 2 shallots that are thinly sliced. And we'll cook this for about 2 minutes. We want the vegetables to be crisp tender. See, the vegetables have started to soften a little bit. So we'll take them out, put them in the bowl with our shrimp and our eggs. Now we'll turn up the heat to medium-high. And I have 2/3 of a cup of chicken broth. And now if you want to take those noodles that you worked on earlier, put them back in.
Ready?
Yep, into the skillet. And you can just toss those around with the broth. We're going to let them cook for about 2 minutes. They're going to soak up all that broth. So it's been 2 minutes, and all of that chicken broth has been absorbed by the noodles.
Yep, nothing left.
So we'll kill the heat there. And you can add the noodles to the bowl with veggies and the shrimp and the egg. It's gonna be good. Now I have 2 cups of bean sprouts and 2 teaspoons of lime juice, just to give it a little bit of acidity at the end. And I also put in 4 scallions that are chopped up. So what do you think?
I think it looks great.
Thank you.
I think it's time to eat.
Me too.
Okay.
Let's go over. Let's make it look pretty. Let's put it on this platter here. So that looks really great, I think.
It looks great. It also looks like a full meal.
Yeah, you can see there's plenty of protein, there's vegetables, it's fresh, it's light. That's my kind of dinner.
You know, I have a fantasy about you, which is that actually you have nothing but like fried chicken at home all the time and barbecue. This whole light, healthy thing is just a ruse for the office.
Yeah, you don't know what I do behind closed doors.
That's right. Looks great. Smells great.
It was actually pretty quick to put together once we had all the ingredients prepped.
Boy, that's really good. You know what? You put a lot of curry in at the beginning. I was a little worried about that, but it's not overpowering.
No, it's not. A little bit of spice from the cayenne. Very fresh, very light. Lots of flavor.
So for great Singapore noodles, we started with the rice noodles. We soaked them for 2.5 minutes in hot water, drained them, and then I cut them into thirds, and then we tossed a little bit of sugar and soy sauce. Shrimp, we did that, then we added some eggs, put that aside, and finished up with a little bit of aromatics, and then some nice fresh vegetables as well. So there you have it, from America's Test Kitchen to your kitchen, a wonderful dish, a full meal, Singapore noodles. You can get this recipe, all the recipes from this season. You can watch select episodes of our show, get our tastings and testings all at our website, which is americastestkitchen.com.